Once again, this is News Tonight at 10, and we're here to bring you what's making headlines. And straight away into the bulletin, the Masindi woman, member of Parliament-elect Florence Asimakiki, has joined the race for speakership of the 12th Parliament. Asimwe becomes the 6th MP-elect to show interest in the position, with hopes of enhancing the integrity of August House. The speakership race has been described by members of Parliament as fruit of a healthy democratic space built over time. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has today received letters of credence from 6 ambassadors designate credited to the Republic of Uganda at State House Entebbe. The ambassador who presented their credentials are His Excellency Mr. Ahmed Mohammed Abdulrahman Abdallah Al-Zuwaid, and he is the ambassador designate of the State of Qatar. And then His Excellency Mr. Juan Humberto Macias Pieno, ambassador designate of the Republic of Cuba, and His Excellency Mr. Siddiqui Nafa, ambassador designate of Shahrawi Republic, and then His Excellency Mr. Gideon Behar, ambassador designate of the State House of Israel, and then His Excellency Mr. Jemei Moreno Bao, ambassador designate of the Kingdom of Spain, and then lastly His Excellency Mario Zevedo Constantino, ambassador designate of the Republic of Angola. President Museveni welcomed the envoy to Uganda and reaffirmed the country's commitment to strengthening bilateral relations and expanding cooperation in areas of mutual interest, including trade, investment, technology transfer, education, and regional stability. He emphasized that Uganda remains open to partnerships that promote the value addition, economic transformation and shared prosperity for the people of Uganda and the respective countries. President wished the ambassadors successful tenures and assured them of Uganda's support in the execution of their diplomatic duties. Government ministries and programs have improved their gender and equality compliance scores for financial year 2026-2027. The latest assessment by the Equal Opportunities Commission's EOC shows overall compliance rose from 59% in financial year 2025-2026 to 61.2% of financial year 2026-2027.
In line with the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 171, the Equal Opportunities Commission Act Cap 7, and the 2017 Treasury Instructions. Speaking at the release, Commission Chairperson Sophia Nalejuko said the assessment ensures gender and equity issues are integrated into government planning and budgeting.
The national average compliance performance improved from 59% in financial year 25-26 to 61.2% in financial year 26-27. This demonstrates growing commitment by most programs to integrate gender and equity considerations into plans and budgets.
According to the findings presented by Manasseh Kwihangana, the improvement reflects deliberate efforts to prioritize vulnerable and marginalized groups.
We tried to compare the GDP growth rate and the ATM analysis because we are focusing more on ATM and other enablers. And Uganda's tenfold growth strategy, as outlined in the budget call circular, is anchored on ATM's framework. And the ATM sectors are intended to change the economy, enhance productivity, and generate employment. We are expecting a lot from the ATMs.
Human capital development and legislation, oversight and representation were the top performers, each scoring 70%.
We looked at inflation, which was not so alarming, below the long-term average of 5.6 and far from the previous crisis levels. There is some mitigation measures.
However, the report flagged funding gaps in agro-industrialization, tourism, and science, technology, and innovation.
A decline also will hinder the potential of agro-industrialization to enhance value addition and increase market value in agriculture products. It will also impede the country's strategy to achieve the tenfold growth strategy under the NDP 4. So it's a concern as Equal Opportunities, as we think ATMs and we are not allocating adequate funds, the budgets are not increasing, what will be the impact?
As Uganda implements National Development Plan 4 under the theme of sustainable industrialization for inclusive growth, employment and wealth creation, inclusive planning and budgeting must remain central to our transformation agenda. Inclusive growth requires deliberate policy choices, adequate financing, and strong accountability mechanisms.
The Commission says the assessment supports the tenfold growth strategy and calls for sustained investment in equity-responsive service delivery.
I have felt for me today is that a number of agencies really want to integrate gender and equity issues in the budget, but they are seeking for more capacity.
Makerere University has marked 13 years of partnership with the MasterCard Foundation, a collaboration that has expanded access of higher education for thousands of disadvantaged but talented young Africans since 2013.
The celebration was attended by the head of council, the vice-chancellor, deputy vice-chancellor and other stakeholders.
Of course, there have been other private sector entities that have tried to provide scholarships to students like this. For example, we've had the Madivan Foundation, we've had the Bukadev Foundation, but none has done it in a big and broad scale like the MasterCard Foundation. And MasterCard Foundation even is more targeted at the issue of equity and inclusion, looking for very disadvantaged children. So it has tracks for the poor, it has tracks for females, it has a track for people with disabilities, it has a track for refugee people.
Through your stewardship, young Africans whom the world had too often looked past discovered that they had a seat at the table, a voice worth hearing, and a future worth investing in.
A key highlight was the award of an honorary degree to the Foundation's President and CEO, Rita Roy, in recognition of her leadership in advancing inclusive education and youth empowerment.
You're not beneficiaries. You are the definition of impact. And this program, the MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program, was always conceived and was always about transformative leadership. So you are very special leaders with an assignment. And that assignment is to make the world, and whether that world is Uganda, whether it is your neighborhood, your community, whether that world is some part of this great continent, or the world is the world, or it's your discipline or the profession that you choose, it's to make it better. And by better, make it more inclusive, to bring others along, and to always recognize that you are who you are because of what you've already walked through. The experiences that you've had, perhaps from childhood, perhaps even now, they are our best teachers. But to recognize that there are others along the way who could also, to whom we could also extend a hand.
University officials praised the partnership for supporting scholarships, mentorship and skills development, noting its role in shaping future leaders across the continent. Sandra Kahonde, Prosi Chontawaire, News Tonight.
The Ministry of Education and Sports intends to institute a special program to certify schools inspectors. Now, while presiding over the school inspectors training at Teso College in Soroti City, the Permanent Secretary, Dr. Kedres Triagenda, reiterated the need to equip inspectors with specific competences.
The Ministry of Education and Sports plans to design a specialized course to build schools inspectors' professional capacity in a bid to improve education standards. The move is expected to address the practice of appointing classroom teachers to inspection roles without formal training in school inspection.
But if you want to be an accountant, then you do CPA or you do ACCA. Now that makes you a professional in accounting. These have trained as teachers, they've served as teachers, as head teachers. They've now been brought in and given really induction how to do the inspection work. But we think if they are to be professional and give us the best, then we need to certify them.
And UNITA should develop professional programs. They can be short-term, they can be long-term, even if it's a degree in inspection, even if it's a master's in inspection. Such programs are critical. And beyond even inspection, even planning. I want UNITA to produce the best education planners in this country. I want UNITA to produce the best assessors. If we need professionals in education assessment, UNITA should be able to produce such educational professionals as required within the Act.
While officiating at the training of inspectors from 57 local governments in the Eastern region, Dr. Kedres Tragenda, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, of Education and Sports emphasized the importance of periodic retooling to help inspectors respond to the dynamic education environment.
The electronic system, we have given all inspectors have been given tablets, and we have an instrument with clear standards of what they should look for on that tablet. Asking now the directorate is to draft what would now be the customized performance standards and also the appraisal system for the inspectors of schools.
The National Planning Authority has recommended a review of key performance indicators to include mandatory school improvement plans for all school managers.
Is that we have found out that majority of the schools are not doing improvement plans. And for us to improve in terms of quality, the Ministry of Education should enforce that all schools develop school improvement plans.
The authority also proposes that inspection field reports be presented to local government councils rather than only to district education officers.
Now, university educationists and lecturers have pointed to incoming competence-based teaching model in universities as a game changer that will finally break the job-seeking syndrome. The remarks were revealed by Professor Ngoma Mohammed, the Vice Chancellor of Kampala International University, during the closure of a 5-day training for lecturers on competence-based classrooms.
Every parent would love his or her child to join the money economy after long years of educational study. Educationists believe a time has come for universities to shift from knowledge-based teaching to production of graduates who are job creators. At the heart of this transition, educationists believe competence-based curriculum at university level is the ultimate answer. To fast-track the paradigm shift, Kampala International University KIU has undertaken a 5-day retooling on this practical-based teaching model.
But even those that have already undergone the training, I mean, we have to continuously train them. So we are calling this CBET training the first module 1. But we shall have several trainings of such nature for our staff.
University lecturers believe shifting to competence-based teaching is a trusted model which the country needs in this modern era. The model prioritizes hands-on skills and promotes self-employment.
The competence-based approach does not necessarily require one way of learning. It is from within out, meaning that even the facilitators or the course lecturers will be required to give more attention to the educants, to learn from them as the educants also learn from the facilitators. That one will help us more so to come up with projects that are meaningful through collective effort.
The move comes at a time when education ministry is heavily bent on ensuring the first cohort of O-level competence-based curriculum learners meet university teaching, which is already aligned with the competence-based classroom delivery.
It's going to be a big solution to the unemployment problem in this country. It's going to be a big solution to the graduates who come out and they just sit idle. Because the previous curriculum was only knowledge-based. You pump knowledge and the learner goes out. But now we are saying no, knowledge alone is not enough. You need the skills, you need the abilities, you need to learn how to live in the community. You need to learn how to do, how to be, how to live with the community around you. So we are changing your mind, we are changing your soul and heart, and we are changing the way you do things. Okay, we are training your body to learn how to do certain things.
We are also pressing our students so they can be able to exercise what they know in a society and they can still get jobs.
The training attracted more than 300 teaching staff and other educationists who have been drilled in modern-day class preparation, which is hinged on churning out all-round university graduates. Crispus Arinitwe reporting for UBC.
Members of the 10 African chapter of the Forum for African Women Educationalists, FAWE, have concluded a 4-day high-level training for trainers aimed at strengthening education models across the continent. The Pan-African organization, which champions gender equality and equality in education, says the engagement is central to its mission of empowering young people, especially girls, through inclusive, practical, and sustainable learning pathways.
For 4 days, education leaders and practitioners from 10 African countries have been meeting to reflect, strategize, and refine approaches to better support learners from marginalized communities. The training goes beyond academic achievement, placing strong emphasis on mentorship, problem-solving, and equipping young people with life skills to ease their transition into higher institutions of learning.
These are young women and men from very marginalized backgrounds. And if we don't support them, if we don't walk the journey with them, then they're bound to be abused. And that's how some of the girls drop out of school. They're even at university, but they will drop out of university for various reasons.
Now that some of them are coming from very marginalized background, with very difficult background and difficult environment, this program is meant to equip them with the right skills to be able to be global leaders.
One of the major challenges facing youth across Africa remains the difficult shift from school into meaningful employment. To address this, the training highlights technical and vocational education as a practical pathway to tackling youth unemployment and promoting entrepreneurship.
And why we emphasize TVET, you can get employment. Transition into the world of work, the chances are higher in TVET than any other field. And these are people that can either employ themselves or they can be employed by any company. We've implemented it in Uganda for the past 8 years, and 98% of the young people that join TVET are either self-employed or are employed by other companies.
For beneficiaries like Nancy Masika, a FAO alumna, the organization's intervention has been life-changing.
And it has lifted me to a point that I am also inspiring and helping out other girls. I have a girl that I'm supporting. I am also a mentor to someone because I do not want to benefit alone. I want the benefits I got from FAO Uganda to extend to another girl outside there who doesn't have hope.
FAO is also scaling up its flagship Second Chance project, a 7-year initiative to be implemented in 10 African countries aimed at breaking systemic barriers that limit access to education and decent work for vulnerable young people. Charlotte Amoge for UBC.
Now, Uganda Prison Services and residents of Kisoro district have bid farewell to Bright Akishuri, a senior officer who was recently shot dead together with 3 others at the main prison in Chiboga district. Uganda Prison Services Public Relations Officer Apollo Akankonda described the incident as tragic and confirmed that Akishuri died while on duty. The institution expressed deep condolences to the family and reiterated its commitment to supporting the bereaved relatives during this difficult time. Prayers services were held at St. Peter's Church, Matinza, and were led by Reverend Canon Philip Muhire, who called for accountability, transparency, and strengthening efforts to uphold justice.
The vision is strong. These are things that happen as we live in the world, because everyone has their own calendar. And when your calendar is marked, sometimes it is reversible. When we look at what took you, you wonder what was happening.
someone shooting randomly and everything he finds. It is sad.
The incident of shooting was not as a result of poor welfare. Those who have known, we try really to cater for our officers, but I think it's purely out of failure to manage anger. And all of us, we know that when you fail to manage anger, the result may be fatal.
Tugihanganire cyo gikomera ababyeyi dukomere abayobozi bacu dukomere ariko ndabashima mwese aba prisoners abavuye muri prison tubera ngo family tuba bamwe kuya one family so
hapa hiyo risasi mara tatu kwa marehemu amri yangu anakaza pale Area pili pili. Area tatu. Beras. Bunga sef.
Umuriro kwa kadagasi.
And of course, condolences as well as the national broadcaster go to the bereaved family. Now, in the area of ICT and innovation, the Ministry of ICT has reaffirmed its commitment towards supporting the local innovators to discover new ideas and improve on technology. The pledge was made by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of ICT, Dr. Amina Zawede, represented by the Commissioner in the Department of ICT, Research and Development, Ambrose Ruyoka, at the Entrepreneurs Pitch and Demo Day held at the National ICT and Innovation Hub in Nakawa.
In a move to promote local innovators, the Ministry of ICT, through its program Uganda-Japan Connect Industry Promotion Project, has offered 2 local entrepreneur companies to Japan for a training to acquire knowledge on research and innovation. During entrepreneurs pitching and demo day held at the Uganda Institute of Information and Communication Technology, out of the selected 15 companies, only 8 reached the finals by exhibiting innovation skills and solving homegrown challenges in ICT. 2 of these have been selected and offered an opportunity to travel to Japan to acquire more skills. Presiding over the pitching, the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of ICT, represented by the Commissioner in charge of Research and Development, Ambrose Ruyoka, said government is committed to support innovators.
Ones we are focusing on here are projects for promoting the ICT industry. So we are focused on ICT innovations. But of course, the other Ministry of Science, the Secretariat of Science, Technology and Innovation, has a broader scope of innovations in all sectors.
The project is funded by Japanese government through JICA.
That these 2 companies to have a meaningful discussions and fruitful discussions, meaningful experiences in Japan.
Zakaria Nangai from the Microvest Uganda Limited, the agri-tech innovation that helps farmers access agricultural inputs, says low access to internet in some areas remains a challenge to farmers.
The penetration of internet within our region is also another problem, but our solution has an offline point where a farmer can send the orders offline on our portal, and then when it's an internet spot, can be adopted.
Some innovators called for more funding from government in supporting local entrepreneurs.
We really need to be supported, to be empowered, so that we are able to bridge the digital divide in our communities. With technology, we are able to solve a number of problems. So I call upon the government through the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance to come up and put up support for youth startups that are using digital technology to bring amazing innovations.
The Uganda-Japan Connect Industry Promotion Project falls under the 5 pillars of the Ministry of ICT, aimed at sustaining and promoting technology and innovation. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
So, Muchala.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight, huh? For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later, huh?
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
Notes to the general public. The Office of the President has been alerted that some unscrupulous individuals are fraudulently soliciting money from the public under the guise of securing appointments as resident district commissioners, deputy resident district commissioners, and assistant resident district commissioners. The public is hereby notified that these claims are false and aimed at tarnishing the name and reputation of office of the President. Please take note that such appointments are effected through the established procedures, and any communication to that effect is disseminated through the official channels. No person should be duped to part with money for such appointments. Disregard such calls and report any related incidents to the nearest police stations. Thank you for your kind attention. By William Mire Babalanda, Minister in charge of Presidency.
Welcome back from that short break. Now over to Arua, a resident district and city commissioners in West Nile have been urged to be patriotic by fighting corruption. This was emphasized by the permanent secretary in the office of the president, Haji Yunus Kakande, during the closure of a 3-day capacity building for resident district and city commissioners.
Permanent Secretary in the Office of the President, Haji Yunus Kakande, has tasked the resident district and city commissioners and district internal security officers to desist from corruption as they monitor government projects. This was in his speech read by the presidential advisor on mobilization, retired Lieutenant Colonel Kibirai Ambako, during the closure of a 3-day capacity building workshop for RDCs, their assistants and DSOs in West Nile.
As you are aware, the government has made significant investments in critical sectors such as roads, electricity, schools, health facilities, and security. To achieve these objectives, all leaders, it is your cardinal duty to ensure that funds reach the intended beneficiaries.
On her part, Minister for Presidency Millie Babalanda urges RDCs, RCCs, and personnel of internal security organization in districts to focus on development agendas of Ugandans as the political season is over.
This retreat is one of a series of several regional outreaches. Now that the elections are behind us, the focus must firmly return
to our constitutional responsibilities. Politics must give way to performance. Our task is to consolidate the gains of the NRM government and translate the manifesto commitments into tangible improvements in the lives of our people. That is how we protect the gains of the revolution.
The fifth batch of youths under the Presidential Industrial Hubs has been assessed by Uganda Vocational and Technical Assessment Board, and the youth have been undergoing a 6-month training in different vocational trades, as we hear more from this report.
Over 4,000 youths from 19 presidential industrial hubs countrywide have been assessed by the Uganda Vocational and Technical Assessment Board and are ready to create employment for development. These have been undergoing skills training in tailoring, hairdressing, bricklaying, bakery and leather work. The Director, Presidential Industrial Hubs and Projects, Engineer Raymond Kamgesha, says the vision to reduce unemployment among the youths in the countryside is now a reality.
We've today successfully concluded the assessment of 4,654 youth across the country in all the 19 zonal industrial hubs. These are youth that have qualified or they have been assessed in the subjects or disciplines of bakery, building and concrete practices, leather practices, welding, carpentry, tailoring. Then we have also hairdressing.
Engineer Kamgesha says that the initiative is supported by State House and all unemployed youths are free to join.
Of them, about 1,200 youth have already created employment for others. So you find they employ 5 to 10, and so now we are looking at if we are getting, let's say every year we skill 10,000. So meaning like in the last 5 years or 4 years, we've been able to skill over 40,000.
This program will help the youth to develop their skills and open chances for them to upgrade to higher skilling levels.
We have 19 presidential hubs in Uganda, and they are in regions. I told you they are in Ankole, they are in Chigezi, they are in Toro, they are in Sebei, they are in Bunyoro. All those students are recommended at the local level.
The Uganda Muslim Supreme Council, together with the Nile Humanitarian Development Agency, on Friday distributed food packages to more than 500 refugees to support them as they break their fast during the holy month of Ramadan. The event, held at Gaddafi Mosque in Old Kampala, brought together hundreds of Muslims, with over 500 refugees receiving food packages.
During the gathering, Muslims were urged to embrace the spirit of giving, especially in this holy month of Ramadan. Leaders emphasized the importance of supporting the needy to enable them to fully participate in fasting and prayers.
We managed to extend a hand of compassion to vulnerable refugee communities that reside within the urban center of Kampala. We provided food materials essential to enable them fast throughout this month of Ramadan with dignity.
They noted that Ramadan is not only a time of worship, but also a period to strengthen compassion, unity and generosity within communities.
And this is a pillar of Islam which we have to fulfill. Fasting is abstaining from food and drinks, and also abstaining from...
Hajat Sophia Kenyanji, head of the UMHC Women's Council, highlighted the significance of observing the values and manners of Ramadan.
This food basically is for the refugees, the women refugees. The numbers have exceeded us. For these refugees mostly are from South Sudan. I always talk about peace as very important in a country. Because when you look at these people, the way they are suffering, with children, they are old, they are sick, they are all living here. They are refugees from another country, which was stable. So I call on Ugandans, as we fast, we pray for our country, for peace. As we fast, we pray for people to understand that we need to keep our country safe for staying in.
Sheikh Abdbali Kalozi, head of the Zakat department at UMSC, appealed to those people who are financially able to extend a helping hand to the needy, especially during Ramadan.
We as Uganda Muslim Council, we cannot afford to fulfill each and everyone's need. So we call upon all the Ugandans that if you have anything that you can give in as sadaqah, please come to us such that we can be able to help the majority who always come to us.
Kalozi Kasim, project manager at NEL Humanitarian Development Agency, say that serving humanity is at the core of their mission.
This for us as an organization that has a goal and that has always had a goal of serving humanity is none other than another opportunity to serve humanity. We believe that among the very many basic essentials is food. Not very many people have the possibility of earning, especially for the community that we targeted today.
Meanwhile, Issa Chiralira, chairman of the NEL Humanitarian Development Agency, expressed gratitude for the prevailing peace and stability in the country, which enables organizations to carry out humanitarian activities without hindrance.
Packs are not only distributed in Kampala, but we are distributing them all over the country, and this will go on until the end of the holy month of Ramadan. It also brings me to thank His Excellency the President of Uganda for creating a very good environment where NGOs which are within the thickets of the law can work without restrictions.
The event concluded with prayers and breaking of the fast as leaders reiterated the importance of unity, charity and continued support for vulnerable communities during Ramadan. Nals Bawini, Jamil Sekaja, reporting for UBC.
The senior presidential advisor on agriculture, Peace Rugambwa, is pushing for a new strategy to move Ugandans from subsistence farming to sustainable wealth. Meeting with stakeholders today, Rugambwa emphasized the mindset change is the first step towards economic freedom.
The meeting brought together a cross-section of leaders from youth groups to business owners, all focused on one goal, increasing household income. Rugambwa highlighted President Museveni's 7 pillars of wealth creation as the roadmap for this transformation.
Mpise ba district workers abalimisa aba magomborora aba sub counties ne office ya president ya RDC ne kawu bonna leero babaddewo naye ng'ekigendererwa kyakukola pillars za president Yoweri Kaguta Museveni 7 okusobola okuziteeka mu nkola yazituwadde ffe tulina okuziteeka mu nkola.
For those with limited land, Ms. Rugambwa announced a shift towards high-yield crops, specifically onion farming. She urges that onions offer the best market returns for small-scale holders.
Ku nsonga y'obutungulu era tugenda kuwa abantu ensigo z'obutungulu. Obutungulu kintu kirungi obulima mu kataka katono ate n'ofunamu ekinene. So kati tugenda kuwa abantu ensigo z'obutungulu nga zembalaze.
While local leaders welcomed the seedlings, they raised a critical concern: water. They've asked the President's office to prioritize extending water to hilly areas to make irrigation possible. Meanwhile, the Presidency has issued a stern warning that security will be tightened to ensure no one sabotages these community projects.
So I requested the presidential advisor that if we can have the mega project to support the mega micro-scale irrigation, to support the agricultural production in the hill areas, such as that, as we are implementing a presidential directive of evicting the wetland encroachers. So if they are going up in the hills, they should find water.
I want to assure you that this initiative, much as we may have negative people, and saboteurs that might even extort or misuse the money, but we shall increase vigilance as security. That's why we are in, because we are the enforcement.
Now, stakeholders in the sugar sector in Masindi district have agreed to submit to the Ministry of Trade new proposed sites where the roadside way bridges will be relocated in order to streamline the sugar industry operations.
This was a follow-up meeting by the District Security Committee with the same stakeholders whom they also met on 24th February at Kabarego Resort Hotel in Masindi town. The Masindi Resident District Commissioner Darius Nandinda chaired the meeting to discuss possible new locations for roadside way bridges following a directive by the Trade State Minister General Sonimbadi on 17th February, who suggests that the sugarcane sector stakeholders in Masindi reach consensus on best possible locations of way bridges. This was based on widespread complaints from different stakeholders and security investigations that confirmed rampant sugarcane theft in Masindi district, whereby stolen sugarcane would easily be sold and bought at roadside way bridges.
We have agreed that we are taking this matter back to the center, to the Minister of Internal Affairs and Minister of State for Industry and Trade, so that they are able to decide basing on the requests by the two parties.
Most stakeholders are comfortable that the way bridges being far from the sugarcane growing areas to deter people from stealing cane are quickly set it to a nearby roadside way bridge.
We have failed to reach consensus because each party, this is an economic war. This is an economic war, so everybody is pulling this side and this side.
Biaruhanga made remarks during the District Security Committee meeting with representatives of Kinyala Sugar Limited, Victoria Sugar Limited, and the Bunyoro Sugarcane Farmers Cooperative Union. Biaruhanga said it was observed that the union was acting as intermediary and has been paying less money to farmers at way bridges compared to what Victoria Sugar Limited pays for the same turn at the way bridge. Bunyoro Sugarcane Farmers Cooperative Union has also memorandum of understanding with Victoria Sugar Limited, the sugar company, by the sugar cane collected.
Issue of middlemen is what is killing the sugar industry in Masindi. So my proposal is, let's remove the middleman issue and then remain with the good business.
Sugar millers are currently purchasing sugar cane directly from farmers, which has eliminated the middlemen and brokers at roadside bridges.
So, Muchara.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later.
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get more goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165*80# or use the Momo app.
And into business, Uganda's annual core inflation eased to a 3.0% in the year ending February 2026, down from the 3.3% recorded in January, according to the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, UBOS. Now, the slowdown was largely driven by a sharp decline in passenger transport and food crop prices, despite an increase in energy and fuel costs.
Annual core inflation slowed to 3.0% in the year ending February 2026, down from 3.3% recorded in the year ended January 2026. The decline was mainly driven by a sharp drop in annual passenger transport inflation, which fell to 0.5% in February 2026 from 8.8% in January 2026.
Annual core services, we recorded it in February at 4.1% compared to the 4.8% that we recorded in the month of January 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, still under core, with this core goods inflation, we recorded them at 2.1%. So the drivers for the annual services inflation, we have the passenger transport by air inflation that was recorded at 0.5% compared to the 8.8%. So there's been a slowdown.
Annual food crops and related items inflation also slowed to 1.8% in February, down from 3.0% in January.
So
the decline was attributed to changes in prices of various food crops during the period.
Core goods inflation, we see maize taking a shoot. So for it, it increased to 10.8%. So the prices of maize flour increased to 10.8% in February 2026. Specifically, we had these drivers taking us to that stable rate within the sector. We had construction of buildings where in January 2026, materials that go into that sector had their prices stable at 0.0% compared to 0.2% increase that was registered for December 2025.
However, annual energy, fuel and utilities inflation rose to 2.7% in the year ending February 2026, up from 1.7% in January. The increase was mainly driven by a rise in liquid energy fuel inflation, which climbed to 1.7% in February from 0.2% in January.
The solid fuels also influenced this category. And in these solid fuels, we have the firewood prices that increased to 10.3% in February compared to the 6.9% that we recorded in January 2026. On an annual basis, ladies and gentlemen, the sector recorded a stable rate of 0.0% for the year that ended January 2026 compared to a 0.2% increase that was registered for the year that ended December.
Geographically, Masaka registered the highest inflation rate at 3.8%, followed by Kampala at 3.5%. Arua recorded the lowest rate among the selected centers at 1.1%. Irene Faith Nantongo, UBC News.
The Office of the National Chairman of the National Resistance Movement, NRM, headed by Hadija Namialo, has partnered with Tamini General Insurance in a move aimed at bridging the gap between the rich and low-income Ugandans to access insurance services. The initiative is intended to support small-scale businesses and operators and low-income earners by providing affordable insurance solutions to them.
The development follows the recent eviction of street vendors from different parts of Kampala, an operation aimed at restoring order in the capital. The exercise, however, left many informal traders financially vulnerable and struggling to maintain their livelihoods. The Office of the National Chairman, headed by Hajat Hadija Namialu, say the partnership will provide an opportunity for such groups to safeguard their businesses against unforeseen risks.
Our low-income earners, we have a new package for you. We, as Office of the National Chairman, we partnered with Tamini, Salam Bank, to ensure that we ensure our businesses to become risk-free. As we're trying hard to curtail the situation of the losses we have incurred all over the years, we are looking at an option, and this option is creating awareness through Tamini Insurance.
While unveiling the initiative, Namialo emphasized the importance of insurance among business operators, especially during the holy month of Ramadan, urging traders to protect their enterprises from potential losses.
And we managed to score high by identifying where the gap is, the stakeholders, the wool makers, those are the low-income earners. And we are the majority. No one has created awareness. No one has sold an idea of what next. As we are trying to uplift our great value from 1% through the Insurance Regulatory Authority, we are looking at least uplifting it from 1%.
Meanwhile, the Chief Executive Officer of Tamini General Insurance, Mohamud Omar, noted that the company is committed to deepening insurance penetration in Uganda by reaching out to communities that have previously felt excluded from the conventional financial system due to their values or beliefs.
For the longest time, the Muslim community in Uganda have been avoiding banking, have been avoiding insurance because they're haram. Now, that's what the difference we want to make as Tamini. Our concern is about the community, not just making profit. That's why the pool, at the end of the year, if there's surplus, we share profit with the rest of the community.
Tamini General Insurance has been officially licensed by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda and is set to be officially launched on the 3rd of March by His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Irene Faith Nantongo, Joseph Muyingo, UBC News.
Now, still in business, access to credit for women-led and environmentally focused enterprises is set to widen following the new financing arrangement between Finance Trust Bank and the Initiative for Private Enterprise Development. As we hear more in this report.
In Uganda, so not only in Kampala, but in the whole country. So with a loan that will be provided by FTB on an average of 22k euros. And with the We4A program and INP, we will aim to lower the constraints and barriers faced by the women to meet FTB's criteria to get a loan.
So all of us that in the market where we fall, we believe so much that access to credit is an enabler. We know that many enterprises struggle because of access to credit. And so when we have partners, like we are going to see the partnership sealed, it's giving us more hope in future that we should be able to lend to enterprises that are worthwhile, that help preserve the environment, but also most importantly, ensure a lot of other things that come with organizations accessing credit, including fighting poverty, employment, increasing employment levels, and all the sorts of benefits we're looking at and championing on a day-to-day basis. We're proud to have our partners here today. IPAID, we're proud that they have come in to support these programs and our initiatives and goals, and we think this partnership is going to be a very successful one.
The fund is going to support the bank to lessen the collateral requirements for this because of the guarantee that is coming with it. If I need collateral of say 100%, now I'll only need collateral of 50%. And anything that you have can be acceptable. It can be land sale agreements because we know ladies don't have land titles. Very few have those land titles. But in case somebody can have maybe a land sale agreement, it is acceptable collateral that we can take.
And into the world of sports, Uganda's national men's basketball team, the Silverbacks, suffered a heavy defeat in their opening game of the 2026 FIBA World Cup African qualifiers, falling to a 12-time Afro-Basket champions Angola in Group D action. The Silverbacks were beaten 90-68 after a slow start proved costly against the experienced Angola national basketball team. Angola stormed into a 17-0 run in the opening minutes, putting Uganda under immediate pressure. It took nearly 6 minutes for the Silverbacks to register their first points, with Fayed Bale hitting a three-pointer to calm the nerves. Uganda trailed 27-13 at the end of the first quarter and 45-27 at halftime.
0 to start the game is not how we wanted to come out. I thought Angola came out with a lot of physicality, and it put us in a situation where they forced a lot of turnovers. I think like the second quarter and the rest of the game, we came back and showed a lot of fight to get back in the game. But starting 17-0, it's very hard to come back after that.
We started slow, but started growing into the game. There's a lot of positives from the game, and we have to learn from this and be better in the next game. But I love the fight that we put up, especially after a small start. So we can only, just go back and see where we can be better and focus on the next game.
Kira Municipality has hosted a Games Teachers Woodball Sports Workshop at Shimoni Demonstration School in Kira. It drew more than 60 games teachers from across the municipality, as we hear more from this report.
According to Charles Waswa, who is the chairperson of the Kira Municipality Games Teachers, the meeting is held at the beginning of each year to ensure the smooth running of sports activities.
So we are here because of training teachers, and our purpose here, we have come to help our games teachers in Kira Municipality to learn how the skills of woodball.
This year's focus was on woodball, equipping teachers with basic skills to train learners. Esther Nancy Inde of Blueprints Junior School Namugongo described the sport as exciting for the learners.
I've learned a woodball game. This ball is too interesting, and what I've seen about this game, some of my lazy learners will learn it because no pressure. Someone takes time until he or she shoots the goal.
Dennis Ikomo of Parks Junior School welcomed the new skills gained to benefit the learners.
Today's workshop, I've learned basic skills of woodball, and here today I have learned first of all the measurements of a fairway for woodball.
Such an initiative is what Uganda Woodball Federation is taking to spread the game across the country with the sights of fitting within the new sports law.
The Association of Uganda University Sports has officially launched the implementation of the 2026 sports calendar, marking the start of an ambitious year for university athletics.
The announcement was made during a meeting held at Kampala International University on the occasion to announce the 2026 activity schedule. The meeting focused on establishing a clear, coordinated and practical delivery framework to ensure the smooth execution of all planned sports activities.
Today we are here at Kampala International University to hold the sports, what we call a sports tutors meeting. This is the first activity we do as house on our calendar. So as tutors, we normally meet and agree on the calendar that we do as house. So we come and have a discussion on these activities, and also members are brought on board to give their submissions and also review the activities that we did the previous year.
The 2026 calendar features 10 national engagements and 18 international competitions, reflecting the association's commitment to expanding Uganda's presence on the global stage. The association has already assembled a team of 5 men, 4 women and 4 officials to represent Uganda at the upcoming World Cross Country Championship.
I would like to say that, yeah, Team Uganda is ready. The team is training. They are training in different areas. We have some of them in the western, others in the eastern. But we intend to have a residential training the next the last 10 days to the event.
The World University Cross Country Championship is scheduled for next month in Cassino, Italy.
And lastly, the Uganda Senior Secondary Schools Association Elites Games has started Jan and Secondary School Bombo.
More than 1,000 athletes from close to 60 schools have gathered at Janan Secondary School in Bombo for the Uganda Secondary School Sports Association Elite Games. The 3-day Elite Games are for 7 disciplines: soccer, netball, basketball 3x3 and 5x5, handball, volleyball and rugby sevens. Notable among the institutions in action on the opening day were schools like St. Mary's Kitende, Budo SS and Namagabi.
We had a game between Namagabi and St. Mary's Kitende. They won us by a difference of 35. However, the girls have showed up a very good show. There were some slight mistakes which we think we can improve.
And the game was so good. I played Namagabi. Namagabi, one of the best performing team last year, and it was a very good disciplined team. And at least they gave us our run for the money. And as you saw the game, I used a lot of combinations, trying a lot of combinations.
Action continues on Saturday.
That's all we had time for. Thank you once again for keeping it with us. My name is Patricia Lukoma. It's a good night from us. Bye-bye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Sembabla district lies in the central region, about 48 kilometers northwest of Masaka and nearly 190 kilometers from Kampala, right within Uganda's